Good evening, Jan.
Hi, Michael.
Hey, so yeah, you've got Composer doing some work for you. Sounds like.
Yeah. I went through I finished the nightmare of setting up all the things and all the tools.
Mm-hmm.
Have been playing a little bit with Composer 2.5, the new one now,
Mm-hmm.
which is working quite well. It's the most cheapest one.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than Automode. Now they are quite clever. By default, they put it in fast mode. So
Yep.
that's the expensive that's the expensive cheap mode.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And
if you really
and it looks like it's really is. Oh wow, this is really fast. I want to keep using this. Yeah.
hmm, yeah, but it for me it's fast enough in in slow mode.
Mm-hmm.
Even then I cannot follow. I'm just trying it out a little bit. So for the moment he's so he, I put up on my laptop, which is connected directly to the fiber,
Mm-hmm.
so you can download very fast. I regenerated the list, but not only the one. What was it on the streams? But it was also a video directory on YouTube. So you have videos, you have
Yeah.
streams,
Yeah.
and so the total are 270 videos.
217. Wow.
270, two,
270. Huh.
27, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Even better.
um, I had Composer make a list like before, but now with Composer with actually I can show you why not.
Yeah.
Um, because to solve the problem from last time, what I did was um, make this a little bit.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah, but how can I make this screen a little bit smaller? It doesn't allow me to. Yes. Because actually that's my laptop screen, but I'm showing it here with
Mm-hmm.
Hyperius. Hyperius is the competitor from TeamViewer.
Oh, okay.
But TeamViewer, they don't want to be my friend, so
Hmm.
I'm an Hyperius client now.
Yeah. Wow. I've been using TeamViewer for years.
I've been using them for, I think, 14, 15 years,
Yeah.
but they are not what they used to be. They are fighting with me, so I
Mm.
say, okay. Not going to give more details now, but on the stream,
Yeah.
off stream, I can tell you. But I don't want to work with them anymore. Um, it's a big deception.
Ah.
But anyway, so Hyperius it's even more cheap.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. Good.
paying a third of the price now. It's working very fine. At the time, they didn't exist. But so what you see here is my laptop screen. So for the moment, is downloading um, the transcripts from the videos. He's doing
Nice.
that with Composer, so the slow or the standard model, not the
Yeah.
fast model. Um, so where is my okay? What I did, I gave it last time. I put everything in YouTube. Now I split up a little bit, and I made a tool list. So these are all the tools which I installed, so that it knows which tools are already there,
Mm-hmm.
how to run the tools, how to update the tools. Like there is this OCR package which last time you wanted to use. There is OpenCV, yeah,
Yeah.
for image and frame. There is YTDLP, which this time is the executable, not the Python
Not the
version.
Python. Yeah.
Yeah, Python is installed, Node is installed as well. Oh, I should tell it to add Node and Python as well, so
Yeah.
that it can use it. Um, then every time it does something, I tell it look at all my instructions.
Hmm.
So, for example, here user instruction, please add, update, restructure what you learned to the doc AI learned file so that if ever you have to
Oh,
repeat a
nice.
similar procedure, you can be more efficient. And so then it tells me, okay, the agent was composer, agent mode, outcome was this. And then what he learned, he automatically put
Uh-huh.
it in this file.
Nice.
I don't know whether it helps, but we will see.
Yeah, yeah. In my
Is that?
experience, yeah, it definitely does.
Mm,
Yeah, when I talk about creating custom agents,
mm,
I always include memory, and that's basically that. So when it learns something, it writes it to its memory.
mm.
Yeah, that is cool. Are you aware of agents.md?
Yes, but for the moment, I'm just copying it in.
Okay.
Every time I start a new agent, but either I put it in agents.md, either I make it a comment. That was my, but
Okay. Yeah.
perhaps better in agents.md.
Yeah. If you're using it every single time,
Mm,
then yeah, I think agents.md is a really good place to say, first read agent instructions or AI instructions. um,
mm-hmm,
and if there are some sessions where you're not doing that, then you don't want it in agents.md because agents.md is loaded every time. Um,
yeah.
but
Now, I'm a little bit scared that AI underscore learned, what it learned
mhm,
will become such a huge file
mhm.
um, that you really have to, from time to time,
Yeah.
once you start working on something which is different, not another project, but a different subject,
Hmm.
that you say, okay, rename, use a different topic.
Yeah. That is true. That will happen. And one of the techniques that I like to use, especially when I'm doing multiple agents, each with their own memory, is I'll hold a retrospective with my agents. Um,
Mm,
so so basically, I've even turned this into a command, so slash hold retro. but
mm,
uh, but yeah, you just ask it to review its memories and identify things that are um, too task specific, and recommend that they be deleted or um, general enough that could be promoted
mm.
into instructions, and then recommend changes to instructions. Um, and then
Okay.
yeah, you do that periodically, and then it'll say, oh, yeah, this this was just like a one-time thing that'll never happen
Mm,
again, and then this one, um, yeah, I can generalize it. It happened in this specific way, but I can generalize it and add those to instructions. Do you want me to do that? And then yeah, that
mm.
cleans up your AI memories, or AI learned in this case, and then makes your
Okay.
instructions better.
So it really creates a knowledge base in that way.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and it's
And so
it's much
then,
better than a knowledge base that you might create yourself ahead of
mm,
time, because you can't think of everything, and then it's going to run into things in a different way. Um,
yeah.
yeah, and one of the big challenges is um, that will sometimes give an agent instructions that it would have been able to figure out itself. And so in that case, the instruction was worthless. It didn't change the behavior.
Mm,
So by doing it this way, then when it actually needs it, then it writes the learned, and then you can elevate it to instructions. Yeah.
okay. And so the video list I had Composer create is this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I just added the streamed date, not as so many days ago, but as a
Ah,
real
yes.
date.
Yep.
And I added the native resolution. Now I've not checked whether that has. Yeah, you see.
Hmm.
Now it's higher. The first videos were a little bit lower,
Interesting.
and the last ones are still that. So it has the URL, it has the date, it has the title, and it has a number. And so now it is doing is downloading all the transcripts. Um, so all the information I have here. No, this is now is. Oh, that's not the purpose. You still see the window.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So if you see here, Chinaga info.
Yes.
So I made these two, that's from
Uh-huh.
last time, which I'm going to delete. But so the transcripts, let's see. Yeah, he already has some transcripts here.
Nice.
So I choose for text format with bracketed cues for the timing.
Hmm. Yeah, I see a lot
Yeah,
of duplicates, like the first part of a sentence and
yeah,
then it finishes.
yeah.
That's weird.
Um, I will see because that comes directly from YouTube.
Hmm.
Um, I can just ask Composer to clean it up afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, I might
Um,
even in that case be explicit and say write a script that will clean this up, and then run the script. Otherwise, it'll try to do all of that inside of the LLM, and yeah, that could definitely blow out the
yeah,
context if it's reading every, and then it could, of course, make a mistake,
yeah.
or it would probably do things like fix the have that you see underlined. So if it was trying to do all of that inside of context,
Mhm.
to say, oh, that's not right, let me write it out correctly. But with the script, it'll be just faithful. Just, oh,
Mm.
that's a prefix of that, so delete it.
Yeah, yeah. But okay, so I have, or I will have. Uh, he's working hard to get all. So
Mm-hmm.
I have the numbers which refer to the number in the list, plus the title, which he automatically modifies to be a valid file name.
Yeah.
Then the videos, which I don't have downloaded here, will go here.
Mm-hmm.
And then here I have Art of Immutable. Um, this is the first edition, which is a complete PDF.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the second edition. Yeah, some are in doc, some are in PDF. Um, so we will see.
Yeah.
I want him to process all that in the right sequence so that he knows the old syntax and
Mm-hmm.
that he also knows what is the latest version and combine that with the Jinaga file that you made.
Yeah.
Um, and I also want to point him to the website, the Jinaga.net version of the website.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that Composer will be the right choice to do that. There I might need Opus or the other one there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think yeah, going with a smaller model to do all of this this busy work, all this mechanical work is perfectly fine. So yeah, it can work through problems that it runs into with the downloads, and it can write scripts that can run and
mm,
fix things. Um, where Opus would come in handy is then if you wanted to first of all hold a lot in context at the same time, and then also to find associations and reason across all those various things.
mm,
So, excuse me. So yeah, you gather all the pieces, like even download from Janaga.com and write summaries,
mm,
and do all that with a small model. But then when you want to say, take a look at the chapter on inversion uh, in the first edition versus the second edition, and
mm.
you know, explain how inversion has changed. And then here's Janaga.com. Explain how it's um, that shows up in Janaga. Um, so
And
yeah, that's more of an Opus task.
and to summarize, for example, so at a certain moment I have all that information. Um, for example, I have the transcripts from YouTube, but I also want to try to let Composer or Opus make the transcripts themselves to see which one is best.
Hmm.
Because not sure that the that the transcripts are always correct from YouTube.
Okay, so you mean
Um,
actually run the audio through Opus and then have it
yeah,
put the transcript. Yeah.
yeah, and so all these elements together make a knowledge base about Jinaga out of all this information. but there it really needs to build relations to
Yeah.
um, so I I think there we need a very good model.
Yeah, I think so. In order to really organize that knowledge base, um,
Mm.
there's also the consideration about how the knowledge base will be searched and how it will be used. Um, and so, um, yeah, so what you've got now are the raw files, excuse me, and indexes to those raw files. Um, if you took this set of raw files um, and made it available to a skill, for example, then it would have to do a lot of grepping through those files,
Mm.
and grep is literally the tool that it's using, so it's looking for specific words. It's not looking for concepts. So
Mm.
in order to prepare it um, for consumption, you would want to perform some sort of indexing on it. So yeah, one solution would be to put it into a vector database, and then kind
Mm.
of turn this into a RAG system. Um, and yeah, another would be to kind of pre-process the concepts and turn them um, into keywords, and then you can you can tell the skill to look for these particular keywords when somebody's talking about a thing. Figure out what keyword it is. Kind of let that be your reverse
Mm.
index. Um, yeah. So
Because I
yeah.
was thinking of because even keywords, which keywords to use,
Hmm.
but there we have the keywords from your book,
Hmm.
the first and the second edition. There is a keyword list,
Yeah, that's true.
so that could already serve as a basis.
Hmm.
If I tell it to use that as a basis and to build upon that, also the organization of the information could follow um, the chapters used in the book,
Yeah.
because that's that's the way you see the information.
Hmm.
So that's the expert way.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, yeah, and that's so it's yeah, coming back to kind of how it's going to be used. Yeah, this is also how is the consumer, not just
mm,
the harness that they're using, but how is the end user going to consume this information, um, and hopefully their question that they're asking is going to kind of align with the way that I organize things, but yeah, there's no guarantee that that's the case. Um,
well, I'm
so
the one
yeah,
who's gonna ask
yeah.
questions.
Yeah, so
And
this is kind of where the evaluations
mm,
that we talked about a few weeks back
mm,
come into play. Is that um, if you come up with the kind of question that you would ask, and then create an evaluation around that, and say that okay, when the user asks yeah, this kind of question, like um, how do I create a relational database that syncs between um, two live servers? So okay, that's a valid question. There's a lot of stuff in the book that all has to feed together in order
mm,
to answer that question. Um, of course, you could start with the SQL databases chapter,
mm.
but you have to have gone through some of the other chapters to truly understand what's going on there. Um, so um, so yeah, basically the evaluation that would kind of be a really high level evaluation. But let's think about that one first. Um, so you would say, this is the kind of question they would ask, and then I expect the answer to contain something about um, uh, yeah, having using the primary key, the auto incrementing ID, just as the primary key within the database, and not trying to make those the same across databases. That would be something I would expect in the answer. I might also expect that you create insert only tables and don't allow updates. That every table has an alternate key. All of these things that you might expect to be in the answer. So by creating that evaluation, the first thing that you can do is run that evaluation without any help at all. So how does the model, and the evaluation you get to say which model you want to use. How does the model respond to that? Does it already pass? So, so if you're using Opus and you ask that question, do you already get an answer that is sufficient? And a lot of those rules of thumb that I just said there are are common enough outside of my own work that that it might just answer correctly on its own. And then you can tweak it down, say, try that with Sonnet, try that with Haiku. I've got some things that actually work well with Haiku. It's amazing. And then say, okay, now given this skill or this MCP or this vector database or whatever, however you make that available, then try that again and see if the model does better. So yeah, what you're really looking for is something that is better than the model would have done on its own, and something that allows you to go down models. If Opus does well without help, but Sonnet needs a little bit of help, okay, provide that help, and then now Sonnet can do the work.
Yeah. Yeah. So to get the cheapest and fastest model that can get the work done.
Yeah.
Let's see how far this thing is here. He's still working on it. Okay.
Yeah, I for the factual MCP, I've decided I'm going to target two different models. So I have first of all optimized the MCP to work with Sonnet at all the questions, but then I've tried it at Haiku, and it misses on some things and does okay on other things. And I think the difference is if you are building a model, and now I'm talking about a Janaga model, if you're building a factual model, then you do need a little bit more and a little bit more reasoning capability. You don't need an Opus to do that, but Sonnet can build a factual model. If you're going to use one, then I want to make sure that that works reliably with Haiku. So I expect that with this MCP, people will be using applications more than they're building applications. But
okay.
Yeah, then what I'm ultimately thinking is going to be possible is to truly run a local LLM on top of a factual model, on top of a factual application. So it's completely disconnected. It's just working with your own local replica and your own local model, and now you're just chatting back and forth with this in order to work with your data. So we talked about expenses. We talked about managing managing direct reports. Networking. All these things that you might want to have your own personal CRM, your own personal application for. So you build the application using Sonnet, and then you say, okay, that's good. And then you can drop down to Haiku in order to use it, and then you say, okay, now I want to go offline. Now drop down to Gemma and use it offline.
Yeah, that would be exciting.
Yep, I feel like that is achievable. Yeah, these local models have gotten crazy good.
Yeah, but even on your local computer, that it is strong enough to do something useful.
Yeah. I've got an M5 Mac, and it's it's powerful enough to run a pretty decent local model. But yeah, if I had a desktop with a really good graphics card, I built this one that I'm using right here in 2021 or maybe even 2020. Yeah, I think it was 2020. Yeah, it was still I was still sequestered in the house, and all the parts showed up, and my kids came over, and then we just, uh, my son-in-law and I built this machine. Mostly he built it,
Mm.
um, but yeah. So this one, the graphics card is good enough to do streaming, but it's not good enough to train a model, and probably not really good enough to run the sort of local models that you would need in order to generate code. Um, but yeah, it's certainly powerful enough to run a local model that can use tools, and the
Yeah.
kind of tool use necessary in order to run a factual application is pretty simple, especially if you build on top of your factual application a skill that tells it specifically how to use those tools. So
And there we get
yeah,
back to skills.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Although yeah, it might turn out to be useful. Yeah, it might turn out to be useful to have a tool in the Factual MCP that exposes instructions for a particular factual application. So it can already expose the types. So it can say, okay, these are the fact types, these are the specifications, these are the pipelines and the actions. Um, but but if while building the application you describe a little bit of why, um, so yeah, I need to to track an expense that has not yet been approved. You would have those English instructions, but then you'd say, okay, here's my expense tracker doc expense fact, and here's the action to create one. Track expense. So yeah, maybe just having instructions attached to an action. So execute this action when. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking through how we might be able to basically build that skill straight into the application. So nobody has to create a skill in addition to the application, which is going to be really important when you share an application with somebody else, or you take that application from one machine to another.
But actually, what does it take to teach a model all the content of a skill? Because now the skill is not internal to the model. It's
Mm-hmm.
used as a lookup thing. But for example, if you ask one of the models about C sharp, there is no skill. It has this skill internally. It has learned all that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Let me see if I can. Uh, yeah, let me do a screen share. Ah,
I'll
this should just.
stop this screen share.
Okay, that one. And then let's see if we can do this one. Okay. All right. So yeah.
Michael,
Uh-huh.
it is like if composer heard your remarks. It says here improving deduplication for YouTube's rolling captions, but the batch is still running with earlier logic. So
Hmm.
apparently it's like it hurt your remarks. Um,
Okay, and it's trying to update um it's trying to update its instructions while it's still running. Is that what you're saying?
it's still downloading for the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the download um, it says it's still running with earlier logic, but while it is downloading, it's also looking at the transcripts, and there it is trying to make a script. Um, apparently, that's a script to deduplicate, but that one is not started yet. So let's see
Mm-hmm.
where it gets once it finishes downloading.
Okay. Yeah. Trying to get this thing connected to WSL. Failed to connect. Okay, well, let's reload the window, see if that's sufficient. No. Okay. This might take something more extreme. Yeah. Okay, well, let's see how much of this we can understand just by doing something with Claude Code directly. Okay, so I want to go to Factual MCP. Okay, and so what I'm trying to do, if I take a look at my MCP servers, I already have the Factual MCP installed, but then I'm also inside of the Factual MCP source code. So so now what I should be able to do is I should be able to first of all use these tools. So so if I say show me the Janaga scratchpad, it should be empty. But this is at least accessing the Factual MCP. Okay, yeah, scratchpad is empty. All right, so create an application for helping me with networking. So now it knows that I'm talking about Factual. So it says, okay, there's the user principal, here's a contact name, company, interaction follow-up. Those look like good facts. So what's the primary use case? Contacts and interaction log. Yeah, let's do that. Just that. Group by tag list. Sure. So yeah, right now we are exercising the MCP and using it to create a model. And now after this, I'm going to ask it to first of all show me the scratchpad that it has created, but then I'll ask it to kind of introspect on the tools that it has available. And so it should be able to tell me how it would do a thing. And that'll help us to see from from the outside how this thing is put together. Okay, so inside of Factual MCP examples, create a directory layout for networking example. No. Build the application in the scratchpad. Scratchpad only, no files on disk. Great, yes. Yeah, so that looks like that's the kind of behavior that I'm going to need to steer it. However, it might have gotten really confused by the fact that it's inside of the Factual MCP. So, all right, so now it's actually trying to call a tool. And we can see the tool call. So it's using the Factual MCP and trying to call import scratchpad. And here are all the parameters. And so it's setting up a networking workspace fact and a networking contact fact. So these are all of the types that it's trying to create. So I will let it go and do that every time. And so this is the side of the MCP that I think something like Sonnet is necessary for, because it has to kind of reason through how to put all these facts together in order to create the application that the user is asking for. Okay, so I've created some facts, specifications, pipelines, and actions. So now if I say, show me the scratchpad, it should give me all of that in Factual. So there's the facts, here's the specifications, and the pipelines, and the actions.
Mm-hmm.
So, so now, let me ask it to tell us about the tools that it would use. So, what tools would you use to record an interaction with a new contact? So typically, somebody would just say, "Hey, I met James at the this mixer last night, and he's an investor, and we talked about um, the the AI company that he's researching." Um, but here I'm asking how it would do that, how it would answer that question. So let me scoot this up a little bit so we can read it better. So I would use execute action to add the contact with workspace full name created at, and then set bind news to contact or similar, so that the returned reference to the new networking contact survives the call. And then execute action log interaction with this contact reference from the first step. It occurred, what kind, what notes. And we can see what those actions mean. So the action add contact, that would be defined somewhere here in the scratchpad. Yeah, I see log interaction. It defined the facts. I don't see the add contacts. Yeah, so let me ask, show me the add contact action. And so it should be making a tool call here. So get definition for this action, the name add contact. I won't say yes to all because I want to see it do these tool calls. So here's the add contact action. So what workspace, what's the full name, and when was it created? So, yep, it would make that call. So it would execute, it would call the execute action tool with add contact. And then it would call the execute action tool again with log interaction. And so there's a log interaction one. So that would create the contact, that would create the interaction. So so if I then wanted to ship this to somebody else to use this this application, then basically that's the information that the model would be given. It would be given this scratchpad. It would be able to see that there's an action called add contact that takes these parameters. And so it would have to kind of reason through and put pieces together in order to understand that when somebody says, I met Steve last night at the Dallas Entrepreneurs Mixer. He is an investor researching AI startups. So, so it basically has to turn that intent into a bunch of tool calls. And so it's going to list the facts in the networking workspace and figure out what facts it needs to create, and then it's probably going to list the actions. Oh, no workspace yet. Let me call one. So you see it reasoning through how to address this request. If instead it had some instructions that said, "Hey, the user's going to say that they met people, and so you need to ask where, you need to ask what their name was, you need to ask, um, you know, all these things about them, and then you need to turn those into calls to these actions." So okay, so it recorded the workspace, the contact, name Steve, got the date, tag
Made
investor.
all the facts, and now we can make a query.
Yep. So let's see what pipelines we've got. So we've got contacts by tag that is going to use the specification contact tags in workspace. So here's the contact tags in workspace specification. So yeah, it's going to have to figure out to grab a workspace, call this specification, and then run those results through this pipeline so that it can group by tag label, and then give me back, here are all my investors, here are all my, so yeah, show me all of my contacts by tag, or maybe even something more specific, my investor contacts. So now it has to figure out, grab the workspace, call that specification, call that pipeline, and so yeah, this is another place where instructions could help it to figure that kind of stuff out. So yeah, right now by default this is running as Opus because it's like, you start it up and you're using Opus, but with proper instructions around it, then Gemma should be able to do this.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, it seems to work.
Mm-hmm.
We found Steve.
Yep. So yeah, that's kind of the two sides of the Factual MCP. You're going to create applications and you're going to run them. So yeah, I think if I add, first of all, capability to put instructions on an action, then it'll give it a little bit more help, a little bit more context. But then in addition, have instructions that are just at the workspace level. So so it knows this is what you're trying to accomplish, and this is how you might go about doing it. Show me details about the tools that you just used to accomplish that task. So this should get it to introspect on the MCP server itself. Okay. Okay, so yeah, it even went to tool search, which is a tool that allows it to find MCPs. And then, okay, I've got the MCP factual query. And so now I can run a specification and I have the givens. So the first attempt failed because Janaga match clauses only support path equality between unknown and a labeled given, not scalar field comparisons. Okay, so this is already showing me that it struggled in this task. So it ran into a problem that it then had to correct. We didn't see the correction because it's like, oh, here's the answer. Looks like everything worked. But by introspecting, then we can see that we have some improvements to make. Yeah, and so you would take these introspections and turn them into evaluations. So now, if you give that input, then you will expect a response that is going to attempt a tool call with specific parameters. Like in this case, I wouldn't expect it to make up a brand new specification. So I used inline so that I didn't have to mutate the scratchpad. So in this case, there already is a specification that solves the problem. In the scratchpad, that solves the problem. And so yeah, you would expect the whatever steps it has to take in order to interrogate the scratchpad, find the specification, and use that one. So not directly. So contact taggings in workspace, interactions in workspace. None of them take a tag as a given and return contacts with a tag. So so yeah, this first of all is showing me some improvements I can make to the MCP. But then also, it's showing me that for me to build this application and ship it, share it with others, I would want the application itself to include instructions about when somebody asks something like this, you should use this pipeline. This pipeline here, contacts by tag. So show me all contacts by tag. Yeah, there I'm literally using the name, so it should be able to find it. But yeah, so if those instructions were stored in the scratchpad, dispose pipeline? I wonder why it's trying to dispose the pipeline. Oh wait, it's just the pipeline. So there's a pipeline called pipeline 1. Yeah, I'm still kind of curious. Yeah, it's not trying to dispose the whole application or the workspace. Just trying to dispose that pipeline. So it'll probably tell me, yeah, it's treating this as a fire and forget query and disposing on autopilot. There's no actual need to drop the session yet. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Investor Steve, AI Steve. So they created a new tag called AI. All right, I can look up all my AI contacts. Okay, so yeah, it probably created that pipeline to begin with. So we did a tool search. We started this pipeline, contacts by tag. Compiled the stored pipeline by contacts by tag pipeline, fed its contacts tagging source, and returned the grouped initial state as pipeline 1. Yeah, show me pipeline 1. So yeah, I decline that one. So yeah, now pipeline state, pipeline 1. Yes, let's see it. And so here is, Okay, so this is showing the results, the output of the pipeline. Okay, yeah, that makes sense now to think about it. So there's a tool that gives you the current state of a pipeline. So pipelines, like specifications, are incremental. So as new facts come in, the specification reruns and it produces new results, changes to results. And then pipelines can take those and do other operations, and they are also incremental. That's the whole cascade thing. So yeah, it can interrogate what's the current state of this pipeline. So even as new facts come in the background, it can say, "Oh, show me again." Um, so show me pipeline 1 in the scratchpad. So now it should show me the structure of pipeline 1. So get definition. There we go. Context by tag. Yeah, so that is the context by tag from contact tagging. That's the same one that we were looking at before, right? There is context by tag, contact taggings. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, apparently pipeline 1 was the name that it gave to the results. Yeah, because that's the definition. Right. Yeah. Yeah. The definition is not enough because you need the starting point of the specification. You need the givens, and so that's the difference that I wasn't thinking of. Yeah. Yeah. So here's the source givens, contact taggings with this workspace in snapshot mode. So there's snapshot mode, and then there's also something where it'll notify you. So subscription mode or something like that. But yeah, if it's, or maybe it's called watch mode because that's what I called it in Janaga. So when something happens, it will notify the AI, and then the AI can notify the user. So yeah, all of that. There's more that we should be able to store with these definitions in order to give the AI instructions on how to better use them. So yeah, that's the whoops.
Infinity.
Yeah.
Close the stream. Okay. No, AI is really making a nice addition to historical modeling.
Oh yes, yeah. Yeah, this is going to be really powerful when people can install this MCP, and then they can just start using it to improve their own lives, their own little workflows. So yeah, things like storing data to Markdown files, as you're doing with the skill that you're developing. Yeah, that's kind of becoming a common pattern, and so people are storing Markdown files. Like I actually do have one for networking on my laptop. So whenever I go to a meetup, then I'll pop open Claude afterward and say, hey, I met these people. This is what we talked about, and then it will update Markdown files in order to keep track of that information. But if I've got this, then it'll store that inside of a factual application, inside of a replicator. And then I can install it on my phone. I can install it on my laptop. I can install it in Microsoft GitHub, and then when I'm there, I can use this information to to access all of my Office stuff. So if I meet with somebody and then I want to record it in CRM, I would record the meeting on my phone. That would get stored in a replicator. I come back to my desktop, open up Microsoft Office or 365 Copilot, which is connected to CRM, and I say, hey, all of these meetings, put them into CRM. Just
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, by doing it that way, you immediately have synchronization on all your devices.
Yeah.
And you build a model like you work with Excel.
Yeah, exactly. That's the dream.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, build a model for yourself, share it with other people,
Mm.
and now they can create their own workspace. Or maybe you can even say, I want to collaborate with this person on this thing. Maybe now you're building a model for a shared project. So rather than using Azure DevOps or Jira or whatever to keep track of tasks, you just say, oh, we've
Mm.
got a certain way we like to do it. I'll just create a Janaka application to do that, and now share that with others, and then it'll set up the authorization and distribution rules so that you can safely share your data according to the rules that you set up.
Because there you have to be sure that there are no errors
Mm-hmm.
in the setup,
Yeah,
because
yeah, that's true.
otherwise all your information is out.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking about different ways that I can make that safer. For example, we saw just by chatting with it, it's able to create facts, specifications, um, pipelines, and actions. Um, if we then say, okay, I need you to create authorization rules and distribution rules,
mm,
maybe those things are not just chat and they happen, but you chat and say, okay, I propose this kind of authorization rule. Now I cannot make it part of the model within this session. Instead, I have to send you a message outside of this session. Maybe there's a factual application on your phone that you get a pop up notification. Bloop, this change to your uh, your authorization rules has been suggested. Here's some examples of what it would allow. Explain the authorization rule in plain text. Give some examples, and then you say, "Yep, that looks good." Tap it on your phone, and that authorizes it, and now you can share. So something like that. I don't know.
but then to be sure that the LLM translates it into the correct rules, um, to make sure your data is safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, what you could have is another model that is has a hacker skill
Yeah.
that is trying to access your data
Mm-hmm.
from other accounts.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and there would certainly need to be an agent on that path that would um, be able to take just the description of the rule, just the factual description of the authorization rule, and then give you an interpretation without any of the other contexts of your conversation, so that um, so that uh, that that really limits the prompt injection surface area. Somebody would have to get the prompt injection right into the factual itself, and then maybe some grep or that kind of deterministic rule first to to get all of the all of the obvious prompt injection attacks out of there. Like, yeah, if I attach instructions to these definitions, um, give the LLM instructions for when to use an action, then those instructions could contain a malicious prompt. So, so yeah, when you give uh, the definition to the agent to say interpret this and explain it to the user, you would have to strip out all of those instructions and say you're not intended to use it, so I don't even need to give those instructions, and it's an attack vector anyway. So yeah, here's the raw factual. How is this going to be interpreted? And explain that to the user. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, this is fun stuff to think about.
you're getting more and more to a computer that explains, that understands, that
Mm-hmm.
thinks for us. That yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think certainly by the end of the year, somebody's going to have it, and
Mm.
yeah, I want to be part of that. I want to say, hey, yeah, I've had these ideas for a long time. Put them into these videos. I put them into this book. Can we bring those ideas in and make them part of this system that we're trying to build, because they really do help, as opposed to people just forging ahead and building all of this on top of CouchDB or something. It's like, no, we can do better.
Yeah, all that information can be used automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there will be a time that we say Google. You remember Google? That was that very old system where we could search ourselves.
Uh-huh.
Now
Yeah.
everything is done for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And now Google is just this company that runs Gemini.
Yeah. Yeah, they're working hard
Yeah.
to evolve. Now Google search is still quite powerful, but
Yeah. And mostly because it's built on Gemini now.
yeah. Let me see. Where is my my composer?
Oh, yeah, we are at time. Yeah, what is it doing?
Let me show you. Not sure whether it is still doing doing anything here. So batch 270 resumed. First parse the list, pilot the YT downloads, batch all the But then why does it stop here? Ah, okay, I see. They are still here. Comments which I should allow to run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a way, because you can say auto run here,
Mm-hmm.
but then it runs everything. Is there a way that you can just say for that agent session, go ahead?
I don't think you can scope it by session. I think you have to remember to turn it back to auto run after you've set it to allow to run everything. However, I will say, in my experience, I have found that once you have enough context in your session, I feel more comfortable telling it to run everything, because now it's got a goal in mind. It's got some constraints, and it tends to stick to those constraints. That's not foolproof. There has been one case where I set up an integration test, and I said, okay, run this integration test, and I said, oh, the migrations aren't working. And let me fix the migration, and now in order to fix the database, let me drop the database and rerun all the migrations. And I said, stop, because I was watching it, and I said, is the database still there? Yes, it is. Don't do that.
Like I had a case where when he downloaded the titles for the stream and for the videos, so the two different sessions from YouTube. He downloaded one, it made a file, a list, and then he downloaded the second one. It wanted to merge, and then the merge failed, and it already erased the temporary files where it stored the information. So we had to start all over again. It would be easy. Wait before you delete for the review to be positive, but no.
Yep. You didn't have those instructions ahead of time. It didn't think about doing that ahead of time, and it wasn't working with an immutable data structure that automatically merges. So, what's it going to do?
Okay.
Yeah.
We will see where this gets me. I think by next week I should have a first machine that can answer some questions.
Very good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what it can do.
Because anyway, I might as well say auto run, because in practice I'm not run everything. Use enable. It's on a laptop which is almost empty anyway. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another big part of the the auto run kind of idea is if it doesn't even have the capability to cause damage, then it's
Mm,
perfectly fine. Um, so yeah, if you are running it inside of a virtual machine, and that virtual machine doesn't have any secrets, it doesn't have any way to get out
mm,
except for some whitelist. Whitelist of course the endpoint to to the models, but yeah, if the machine literally physically cannot do anything,
mm.
then giving it full control,
Then,
yeah,
yeah.
perfectly fine. Yeah, the worst it can
But,
do is mess up its own the data that's on that virtual machine.
or on that laptop, it formats the laptop, and I just restore a backup, and
Hmm.
there is no harm done.
Yeah, yeah,
All right. It's telling me waiting for 29 minutes for the shell. So what is it waiting for? Oh, it's
yeah,
this one.
yeah. So it set up a timeout. It estimated that 30 minutes would be the maximum that this might take. But when
Okay.
the shell
Mm-hmm.
reaches a point that it's looking for, it'll abort that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it started up his own shell,
Hmm.
and it's just downloading now. Okay,
Yeah.
good. The result next week.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
See you next week then, Michael.
I will see you then.
Okay, bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.